everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing very well today. So today's video I'm really excited to do because I am going to be filming one of my favorite types of videos to film, and I'm going to be talking all about some eyeshadow palettes. So these are going to be eyeshadow palettes that I recommend for the summer season. They're going to be a mixture. Some of these are going to be newer palettes to my collection, and some of these are going to be drugstore or more affordable, and some of these are going to be a little bit more high-end, maybe a little bit more on the pricier side. So I have a little bit of a mixture for you guys, and hopefully none of these are repeats. I don't think any of these are repeats from any previous videos that I've done. I don't think I've done a summer videos or a summer palettes video before. If I have, I will link it down below, but I don't think I have. So let's just go ahead and get started. So I have my iced coffee here. Cheers. Let's get started. So let's go ahead and do a mixture. Let's just talk about a really just reliable neutral palette that I think will be perfect for the summertime, and that is this one from Morphe. This is the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette. I will be sure to include some like clips of the palettes up close as well as some swatches, but this one really does scream summer to me. This is a palette that I look at and I think summer evenings, summer nights, maybe if you're going out dancing or you're going to a party that's maybe going to be outside, I think this palette would go perfectly with that. Because it's a neutral palette, it's going to go with so many different outfits. It's going to go with so many different you know, lip colors and blushes, and that's something that I really like to play with as well during the hotter months. And so I just really like this one. I haven't had it too long within my collection. I think I probably purchased it when it first hit Ulta, so I haven't had it too long, but it's definitely a palette that I want to get some use out of, and I think it's a great kind of affordable option that has pretty decent quality, that you know, it's a great neutral palette that you can kind of use every day. So I wanted to mention this one, give it some love, and I do think the color story is really good for summer, especially going into fall as well. Then I wanted to mention a more higher end palette that I definitely want to try to get some use out of, and that is the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. Now, I picked up this palette during her Black Friday sale. It was a duo, so it had this palette as well as the Love palette, and the Love palette was for my sister, and I wanted the Zendo palette. So I want to say all of the midi palettes besides the pastel one from her, so I really wanted to bring this one into my collection. But this palette, I feel like, is a great summer palette. Again, you can do some really beautiful pops of colors with like the teals and the mint colors, but then also make it very like evening appropriate here on this other side of the palette, or other half of the palette, if you will. So yeah, I just think that it would be a great summer palette. I feel like it kind of reminds me of like the pool, maybe the ocean on this side here, and then again this kind of reminds me of like summer, like the heat, that kind of thing. So I really want to get some use out of this one. This is definitely my least used Natasha Denona palette. I know a lot of people don't care for this palette. They were just kind of complaining about the quality. I haven't had any negative experiences with this palette. However, I've only used it like once or twice, so I want to bring it out and use it more within my collection. So definitely want to use this one for the summer season, and I think it's a great option. If you have it, pull it out. All right, now let's get into some color. I'm really excited. So firstly, what kind of inspired this video altogether was the Glam Light Ice Cream Dream palette. This is such a cute palette. I absolutely love like the sprinkles here on the packaging, and the palette is super colorful. This palette is really beautiful, you guys. I have to say though, I wasn't like as impressed as I thought I was going to be with this palette. I definitely prefer Give Me Glow Cosmetics Pastel Dreams palette to this one. However, this is still a really great option. And what I like about this one is it's pastels, but it's definitely a little bit more saturated. These colors are a little bit more deeper. They have a little bit more pigment or color to them. So they're not just straight up pastels, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm really excited to dip into some of these purples, into some of these blues, some of these fuchsias. So I really want to try to use this one more. And I was kind of debating debating to include this one in my spring palette video, but looking at it and the title of the palette being that it's ice cream, I felt like it was perfect for summer. I feel like I need to add some color to my face. I feel very, very pale. So let's do that right quick. Okay, that's better. Okay, so moving on, this palette, again, I want to get some use out of it. If you have this in your collection, this is a reminder to pull this one out. Then I wanted to include a more affordable option that's colorful. Now, this palette, I don't know if you can still get it. However, I know a lot of people have been finding these palettes at like Marshall's or at TJ Maxx, and this is the BH Cosmetics Summer in St. Tropez palette. This is just a really, really fun color story for summer. You have, again, kind of like your pool colored blue here. You have some really, really beautiful shimmer shades that are like a little bit more like purple leaning, a little bit more green toned. This really pretty mustard color, this nice pop of yellow in here. So yeah, I think you could do some really fun looks with this palette, and I would love to get some use out of it during the summer season. I haven't used it, I don't think, since I picked it up at Marshall's or TJ, was one of the two. So I'm really looking forward to testing this one out. I love, love, love the BH Cosmetics formula. I'm really hoping that Makeup Revolution, purchasing them, doesn't steer away from the beautiful quality that they had. So we will definitely keep tabs on BH Cosmetics, but really want to make sure that I get some decent use out of this palette. And honestly, even the packaging alone is just super, super summery. So definitely wanted to include this one, especially if you don't maybe have the Glam Light Ice Cream Dream palette, but you're wanting to play with some color. You might be able to find this one at your TJ Maxx or Marshall's, or you might already even own it. So be sure to pull this one out. All right, then I wanted to go into a little bit more of a higher end neutral palette, and this is a new palette to my collection this year. I purchased this palette in January. No, it was actually the end of last year, so it was in December. And that is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension Eyeshadow palette. So this is the first palette. I do own the second one. However, this palette screams summer to me. I love the neutrals. I love just kind of how sultry this palette looks. Again, I'm just picturing more like evening looks that you can wear going out dancing, maybe to a party, like I said. And you also do get some cream shadows in here. So again, more of a way to create more sultry looks. The shimmer shades are absolutely beautiful. So yeah, I want to get some more use out of this. So far, I'm enjoying the rose toned version of this palette more so, which is the Major Dimensions 2 palette. However, I want to get some more use out of this one. Normally, I would talk about like the Natasha Denona bronze palette, but still, this palette is a little bit more neutral leaning. The bronze palette from Natasha Denona is definitely more like red toned, a little bit more orange toned, and this one does pull just more neutral. So really want to use this one some more. This is definitely a little bit more expensive. However, I know a lot of people have this palette. A lot of people really love and enjoy this palette, so I wanted to go ahead and include it, and of course encourage you to pull it out for the summer. All right, the final two palettes are both more affordable. Going back to BH Cosmetics, I wanted to talk about the BH Cosmetics Hanging in Hawaii palette. This palette I actually purchased just this year. I purchased it from Ulta. I was dying to own this in my collection. I want to say the love affair that I had with this palette all started with Michelle's, is it Makeup Glamour or Michelle's Everyday Makeup Glamour, something like that. She's here on YouTube. She loves this palette, and she spoke about it in one of her videos maybe last year, and the way that she spoke about these shimmer shades just really, really made me want to purchase it. I already knew that I really liked the BH Cosmetics formula, like I was saying about the Summer in St. Tropez palette, and these shimmer shades are really no joke. Then my sister purchased it, and she had it, and I saw her one day, and I really, really liked her makeup, and I said, hey, like, which eyeshadow are you wearing? She's like, I'm wearing the BH Cosmetics Hanging in Hawaii palette. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, your eyeshadow looks so pretty. The shimmer shade was just really gleaming and just reflecting so beautifully on her eyelids. So I was like, that's it, I'm getting this palette. So this was one of my palettes, one of my So I'm trying to do like one palette per month. I'm definitely struggling, but this was my February palette, I think. So far I'm really happy with this one, but I do want to get some more use out of it. And again, I just think not only the theming of the palette with it being like Hawaiian based, right? But also the color story. I'm thinking like daytime summer looks. It can also kind of lean into evening summer looks as well. So yeah, just wanted to get some use out of it, and really, really impressed with the shimmer shades in that palette. And then the final palette, this is actually going to be a perfect palette for going into the fall season, so leaving summer and then going into fall, and that is the ColourPop It's a Mood palette. Now this is again not super new to my collection, but I definitely haven't given it the love that it deserves. This is a beautiful, beautiful color story. I love how this palette is super jewel toned. I really enjoy all of the fun shimmer shades that are included in here. I think the way they laid out each color in each of the columns just works out perfectly, and it's very, very easy on the eyes. So I feel like most people can kind of look at this palette and know exactly where to go. So I want to get some more use out of this one. I think this is again a perfect palette to kind of transition into the fall season. You can even use this in the fall, but I think with like the greens and like these corally shades, it just felt a little bit more summery to me. So I really want to try to get some use out of this one. I haven't had it. I got it when it released last year, which was probably, I think, in like September or so, and I really haven't used it that much. Isn't that so embarrassing? I'm ashamed. But I really want to use this one. It's such a beautiful, beautiful palette, and I've heard nothing but good things about it. So those are all of the summer palettes. I kind of really sped through this. You know how some people can include like 15 or 20 palettes in these types of videos. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to focus on palettes that I really, really think I will use this summer. Like for instance, I have some neutral palettes in here. I'm always reaching for neutral palettes. I also have some beautiful colors that I can play around with as well. So I wanted to challenge you. Shop your stash, pull out some palettes that you think will be perfect for summer, incorporate color. Do not be afraid to incorporate color. Some people incorporate color by just incorporating it on the lower lash line, or maybe putting it like as a winged liner. So I encourage you to do that. Have some fun with color. Use it as like a pop. Maybe you don't have to fully commit. That's usually what I like to do. But comment below, what are you pulling out palette wise for the summer? I would love to hear from you guys. You know how much I enjoy hearing your recommendations, hearing your ideas. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my YouTube channel family here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye!
Maybe one day it'll be easy, sweet like cotton candy.